So let me begin by explaining. Now, the 80-20 rule for me, how I interpret it is on a scale of 100, 80% of the time, I make the efforts to eat well and take and do whatever I need to optimize my health. And the other 20% of the time, I give myself permission to indulge, to enjoy, to do and eat things that I would normally not engage in because I just don't feel as though it's bringing anything to help increase my levels of wellness. And I think it's really, really important to give yourself permission to indulge. It's important to give yourself permission to experience chaos, have moments of creativity, of rebelliousness, in whatever it is that you're doing. So I just want to make sure and put that there. Now, if you are in the beginning phases of healing any kind of health condition that you have been living with, specifically, if you have been living with this health condition for more than 2 years, then I want to encourage you towards increasing your levels of wellness and your health and focusing on making a complete change rather than reestablishing habits and patterns and, giving your cells permission to think that you're sending mixed messages, right? We are constantly teaching our bodies what to do, right? Via the food that we're eating, it sends messages, it's broken down in the body, and the chemicals, the chemical reactions that are happening are sending messages, and everything is transported throughout. And so your body is receiving this message from the food or the junk that you're eating. We're also teaching our body what to do via our actions, right? The places that you go, the actions, that the way you stand, the way you load your weight onto one side or the other. It's giving your body messages that it's recording, especially if you take note of these actions during times of high stress, right? So it's recording information. And then, these are your actions as well as places that you're going, right? People that you're frequenting and those kind of vibrations that you're putting yourself around. And we're also programming ourselves by the thoughts that we're thinking. If we are thinking things that are low vibration, that are not supportive to our own growth, towards being happy, healthy, and whole, then we have to consider these messages that we're sending ourselves. Now, when you fall off track, right, it's important to get back up again. We know this, we're taught this. I hope that we're all taught this, right? And we all strive towards this in our everyday lives. But when you're focusing on the goal, right? And you're at the beginning phases, the beginning stages, the foundational, crucial steps, especially if you've begun building muscle, like you've started to establish something new, the first 21 days, because they say it takes 21 days to make a new habit and 90 days to establish a new routine. Now, if you're especially in the first stages of this, and you don't have the muscle memory, it's really easy to deviate from your path. It's really easy to order from a particular restaurant and eat that food and feel satiated and feel okay, and then make the decision to do the same thing more than once, right? Which gears and veers you off path. It takes you off track. And then it becomes really easy to cheat. Then you just go on justifying why you think it's okay, especially if you've had some success. If you have had success, I've had some clients, tell me that the pain has gone from 9 on 10 to 1 on 10 or 9 on 10 to nothing, which is beautiful. And then they're telling me about, these little things they're sneaking into their diets, and their bodies are responding right away, telling them not to do it, but they're still doing it because you've experienced some success, and so you think it's okay to ride the line. Now, these are sending yourselves mixed messages. They're sending yourselves mixed messages. And I don't know about other practitioners or how they work within their containers, how they work within their programs or in their incubators. I'm now calling my program an incubator because that's really what it is. But I don't think that you should compromise. I don't think that you should give yourself permission to veer off track very, very often, if at all, when you're on this straight and narrow path, because, illness is aggressive. When illness takes hold of your body, when illness gets a control of your cells, when it becomes a host in your body, when it affects your mind and it doesn't care, it's aggressive. And if you are working holistically at reducing the symptoms and dealing with the root issues and stopping the pain and specifically preparing your body on the path to pregnancy, and you are over the age of 30, over the age of 40, and you are dealing with multiple issues around reproductive health, you don't have the time to be testing the waters after getting a little bit of results, especially if you know that you're working on a timeline, right? Like, we just want to get in and be very fixed, and that's very specific to, how I work. Illness is like a mountain, and you cannot move a mountain in a day. If you have cement work to do, if you're laying bricks, that's really back-breaking work. And laying down the foundation is the same thing as, laying down cement. Helping your body to reduce, eliminate, and reverse illness, like, this is a full-time job, and this is moving, a mountain. It's, moving like a ton of bricks one by one, like, you can't, decide that I'm, gonna change up just because I have some results. Like, you have to cross the finish line, and you want to cross the finish line with integrity, right? Like, you want to stick to the protocol, right? Do yourself a favor, especially if you are investing, a lot of your time, a lot of your finances, a lot of your energy into your healing journey. Any journey for the matter, you want to make sure that you are serious about your health, because you want the graph to have a steady incline. You don't want the graph to be, all over the place, because you haven't committed here, you were taking something with the medicine that you weren't supposed to, or you stopped eating these particular things because it's okay if you suffer. Just like, we don't want to do that, right? So when you're establishing rhythm, when you are aiming your trajectory to step into a particular rhythm and frequency, you want to make sure that you approach it from the perspective of wanting to be complete, right? Because the last thing is, you don't want to be, on your 80-20 rule and you're not enjoying the 20%. Like, you don't want to do that. Oh my goodness, that's one thing. If I know that I'm going to be eating something or drinking something that I don't normally do, I'm going to enjoy it, and I don't want to feel any guilt afterwards. And so if you're constantly putting yourself in that state of, well, I'm doing better and I'm just going to cheat a little bit and I feel so bad and I'm going to keep on going down that road, then you have to reevaluate if you really should do the 80-20 rule.